Okay. And we are live. Holy moly.
Woo! Who are you going to call, baby? Us.
Go. Actually, I got who you're going to call. Stand by. How about this?
Let's go.
Enough of that for now. It is versus. Welcome, everybody, to our inaugural kickoff episode of $2 Late P. $2 Late P. That shows you where my mind is at. $2 Late Fee presents versus. I posted on Instagram yesterday, Soundtrack Saturday, the song Voices from Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And I was like, versus, I hear versus. I thought that would be a great theme song. So
there
do that for
there
us?
you go.
Yeah.
You go do that.
So any of you awesome synthwave artists who listen to or watch $2 Late Fee or Podcasting After Dark, go if you want to make a song for us, that'd be amazing. Versus. Welcome to Versus, and it is me, Zach Schaefer, and I'm joined with Corey Stevenson, my podcasting brother from Podcasting After Dark. Welcome to Versus, Corey.
Thanks for having me on the first episode, buddy. I'm excited about it. Offline, you and I have been prepping for this and talking about it, and it's finally here. And I'm a little nervous, but I'm still excited.
I'm nervous too. It's 2025 is uncharted territory for $2 Late Fee. Dustin, my brother from another mother as well, is on a hiatus, a sabbatical. And in the meantime, I was like, well, there's this show I want to do. I think I'm going to do it. We're just going to pull the trigger, see what happens. It might be a little rough around the edges. It's going to evolve over time, but the show is called Versus. What's the premise of this show? Well, we're going to take two things from the 80s that are connected. Tonight, for example, we will be discussing Filmation Ghostbusters and The Real Ghostbusters, both cartoons from the 80s. And then we will have a very friendly debate on which one is better. And then at the end, we won't decide, you or myself, but the listeners and the watchers of this show will decide in the comment section who you thought had more. And at the end of the month, we will tabulate the votes. Whichever one got the most votes is the winner. And depending on who I'm playing against or who's playing at the time, if there's a Patreon, and in this case there is with Corey's playing for his patrons on his Patreon. So go to patreon.com/podcasting after dark to sign up to that, or patreon.com/$2 Late Fee, and we'll randomly pick a name for whoever wins on whoever's side, and that will be the winner of an amazing prize.
Now, I know everyone heard all that, and they said, I'm going to vote for the most popular thing, and that'll probably be The Real Ghostbusters. But what we're hoping, and this is more Zach's show, but what we're hoping is that you guys are actually going to vote based on the argument that we make. So, if Zach makes a better argument for Filmation's Ghostbusters, I hope that wins.
Yeah. So basically, you're going to listen to what we both have to say about our respective shows and series. And then you'll be the ones to decide based on the knowledge or based on the information we provide, who the winner is going to be.
The most accurate vote would probably be someone who listened to this, was activated by it to actually vote, but has never seen either cartoon. That's like sort of what we're hoping. But chances are, I'm thinking 99% to 100% of the people have seen both of these cartoons, and going into this, probably already have an idea of which one they're already going to pick.
Well, Brian Hooper,
hey, Brian,
who is a Patreon member for both shows, welcome. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Brian, I just finished editing A-Team, which was your Patreon pick. So thank you for that, buddy. Over on Podcasting After Dark, guys and gals, we reviewed A-Team. Zach and I did. It was a long episode.
Yeah. So
long movie.
For those that don't know, for those that are new to Podcasting After Dark, Corey and I have been doing Podcasting After Dark the same amount of time that I've been doing $2 late fee with Dustin, and a little bit longer, I think with Corey.
I like a few months. Yeah.
Yeah. And we break down a movie scene by scene. The concept originally was movies that we weren't allowed to watch as kids. It's evolved over time.
It evolved because we would have hit a wall at the end of that, at some point. Probably like 3 years ago, we would have probably hit a wall for that.
This is true. Don't be surprised, though, if my next pick for Podcasting After Dark is definitely a movie you weren't supposed to watch as a kid. Nice. But the Corey is someone who has been on, we've been doing this podcast journey for over 5 years now, going on 6.
Yeah.
And we do 80s Kids Unite. We do TV Obscura. We do a lot of shows together. And I wanted Corey to be my inaugural combatant, I guess, debater, my master of debate.
There you go. You took it right out of my mouth, pal.
And, to discuss these shows tonight, Corey is a diehard. Corey, would you say, that Ghostbusters is, like you've gone on record to say, Star Wars is life.
Aliens is my favorite movie. Yeah. Ghostbusters. Right? I mean, it's up there with all, like, my favorite franchises: Star Wars, Aliens, Ghostbusters, Tron, and Mad Max. Those are like my what make up me. I saw the original Ghostbusters in the theater. I think I was 8 or 7. I can't remember off the top of my head when it came out, but I saw it with my stepmom. Love that movie. Blew my mind. And just to know where I'm coming from on Real Ghostbusters is my favorite cartoon of all time. The caveat to that is that I particularly love the first 2 seasons because I'm a massive Lorenzo Music fan. I don't hate Dave Coulier. I don't hate what he did with the Venkman character. Later, it became more of an impression of Bill Murray than Lorenzo Music's was. And of course, if y'all don't know who I'm talking about, Lorenzo Music was also the voice of Garfield in the 80s. So it's like, why does, but that was, for me as a kid, that was my Venkman. And to this day, I'll tell you, this may be sacrilege, but Lorenzo Music is my favorite Venkman, and I'm talking about cartoons and movies.
Hold on, you're starting to defend your show a little bit.
You're right. Sorry. I got excited. I mean, I'm wearing my Ghostbusters shirt that I got in Japan, for crying out loud. You guys enjoy my moves too, but yeah, I'm wearing my Ghostbusters
I'm
shirt.
enjoying my $2 late fee shirt.
Oh, but it's not a Filmation's Ghostbusters shirt, baby.
No, but I might have some Filmation items to show everybody later to prove my point that I think Filmation Ghostbusters is the better of the two. But we're going to get that out in just a minute. By the way, Luna Snow just said that she has never seen either cartoon.
Perfect example. So Luna, you're going to vote based on our, which ones we put forth a better argument. So Luna is perfect for this then.
Or Luna, you could just vote on who you like more. So, and Brian, me. So, by the way, this is kind of uncharted territory for me. And I think, Corey, you know me probably better than most. I am a very balanced, nice guy who doesn't really kind of take sides or doesn't get very passionate about things. Because I'm like everybody
to make people happy. We discovered that on an 80s Kids Unite episode where we unpacked a very important factor of Zach's personality. A lot of episodes, be it $2 late fee, be it 80s Kids Unite, be it Podcast After Dark, we unpack a lot of stuff about Zach's past.
We do. So for me,
Zach is a people pleaser.
Yes, I am. So for me to go down a road where I have to debate, it's going to be an interesting experience. So this is Versus. By the way, this show is a monthly show. It will air the last Sunday of every month. Depending on if we have conflicts coming up, Corey will join probably fairly regularly. But we all have other ghosts. We have other hosts.
Maybe ghosts. Well, we might have ghosts also.
We might. Maybe we'll have my wife on, who has a ghost podcast called Hey Boo, a witches podcast. It's not a ghost podcast. It's a witches podcast.
I've been on it. Go check it out.
Yeah, you should. By the way, Brian, thank you. He says you guys are the best. No, you're the best. And everybody watching, you're the best, and I appreciate you checking this out. And you have a month to vote, basically. So after this show ends, this show's going to live on our YouTube channel And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so, and subscribe to Podcasting After Dark's YouTube channel while you're at it as well.
And I just want to do one more plug for Podcasting After Dark. I promise I won't, turn it into that. But you, Zach, me, and Diallo, we did do an episode of TV Obscura completely dedicated to both of these cartoons.
Yes.
Which we dived more into the history of the cartoon and stuff like that. So there's like more information about it. If anyone's interested, you can go check that out as well. But we literally we talk about the history of these two cartoons. I think it was like our Halloween episode. No, it was our February episode because I picked it like 2 years ago or something. But anyways, just go look up, Podcast After Dark, TV Obscura, Ghostbusters. You'll find it. It's there.
Right. So we are kind of going over, we may hit some things we said on the show back in February, but it's a little bit different now because now we're defending our shows. So what's going to happen is we are going to, give a brief overview of each one of the shows. A little brief overview. I think Corey already did his with Real Ghostbusters. Gaga. And
nothing
then
else to say really, other than that it came out in 1986 to 1991. Otherwise, some of my key points will tie into the history of the show anyways. So that's kind of all you really need to know about Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and I'll do the same with the Filmation Ghostbusters. So Corey, why don't you take the reins and talk a little bit about Real Ghostbusters and the backstory of what Real Ghostbusters is and what it's all about.
Okay, yeah. So Real Ghostbusters, like I said, came out in 1986. It aired in 1986, produced by Deke, an animation company, and it is a spinoff of the movie Ghostbusters. It has Venkman, Winston, the whole gang. Janine is there, and everybody's there, and even Slimer is there. And so that's kind of all you really need to know. But one interesting note that we should kind of discuss, and that also goes into your backstory of the Filmation's Ghostbusters, is that the reason the Ghostbusters cartoon based on the movie Ghostbusters is called Real Ghostbusters is because Filmation's Ghostbusters is based on a license, another TV show from 1975 called Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters. And I think it was 2 words, I believe, Ghostbusters.
It was 2 words. 3, technically.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters.
And so they sued when this came out, and then kind of long story short, the Deke's version of Ghostbusters based on the movie had to add the real in front of it. Well, they had to change their name some way, shape, or form. I don't think Filmation's Ghostbusters was hoping they would say the real, but that was how they got around it. And that's why that cartoon is called The Real Ghostbusters. It's because of Filmation's Ghostbusters.
Right. And you basically said what needs to be said about Filmation Ghostbusters. It's based on that 1975 live action show. It's a sequel where it picks up with the relatives of the original cast, and it moves into the 21st century. I don't know, and
all
they
26 episodes are
and literally they were kind of riding the coattails of Ghostbusters fame. It came out in 1986 and lasted about 60 some odd episodes. Yeah, 65.
Okay.
And
is that 2 seasons or 1 technically?
I think it's technically 1 season. It was from
one
September
season,
September 8th to 1980. September to December of 1986. So that's not very long.
No.
But yeah, I won't say much more than that because it's a lot of what I need to say in my defense of Filmation Ghostbusters. So game's going to work like this. One of us is going to go first. I'm going to flip something.
Flip it for real.
I tell you what, I've got a copy of the secret. I've got a copy of Secret of the Sword. Is this backwards to you, by the way?
No. It's only for you because
Okay, so I've got a copy of the Secret of the Sword, the book that's based on the She-Ra He-Man film of the 80s. It's my own original copy from the book fair back in the day.
Wow.
And Corey's going to say either front cover or back cover, whichever one it lands on. He'll decide whether he goes first or last.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Front cover.
It landed on the back cover.
Ah, there you go. You get to pick if you want me to go first or if you're going to go first.
I'm going to let you go first,
Okay.
actually.
Cool.
And so what
I was going to do that to you. I was going to make you go first if I won.
Oh, interesting.
I'm ready. Let's do it,
Maybe
baby.
that tells me that Corey's not so confident about his Ghostbusters show.
Let's just say that I was never on the debate team in high school. So like, this is like little like nerve wracking to me.
No, same here. But I think that's what's going to make it more fun. We're going to each have 3 minutes on the clock, 3 minutes to defend our show with a 1 minute rebuttal. And then we will take a pee break. I'm kidding. And then we'll flip it. Basically, I'll get to do my 3 minutes and Corey will have his one. And at the end, we'll each have an optional 1 minute to say final thoughts if we want to.
Anything we forgot or didn't get a chance to. Now, if the timer goes up, can I finish my thought, or like is this a hard 3 minutes, or is this a smooth, like soft 3 minutes?
No, when you hear this sound, that will be the end of your time and you can finish your thought. Okay. I'm not going to be a stickler.
Right.
I'm not going to let you finish on Lorenzo music is, and I'll fill in the blanks. Not very good. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. Well, am I kidding? I don't know. I don't have an evil bone in my body. Okay. So I'm going to set the timer.
I was shocked by that. It threw me off.
That's what I like to do. I like to shock you. Okay. Corey, are you ready?
Of course, I was born ready to defend the real Ghostbusters.
Okay, here we go. So on the count of, I'm going to count you down. 3, 2, 1, and go. You have 3 minutes.
All right. The reason this show is awesome is that it's a direct continuation of the first movie, the popular movie that everyone freaking loved, the blockbuster film Ghostbusters. Or is it a prequel if you consider season 1, episode 10, take 2, where the gang goes to Hollywood to be consultants on the Ghostbusters movie? So you kind of have a little bit of a prequel action. You have a voice cast that consists of Arsenio Hall, Maurice LaMarche, Lorenzo Music, Frank Welker, Laura Summer, and later you have Buster Jones, Kath Saucy, and Dave Coulier. You have an absolute stacked cast. I mean, for crying out loud, Frank Welker is a god in the voice acting industry. So is Maurice LaMarche. A lot of people know him as Brain on Pinky and the Brain, but for me, it's Lorenzo Music, always and forever. On the show, you have writers, especially the first couple of seasons. You have writers like J. Michael Straczynski, who later went on to create Babylon 5, but he's writing episodes about Cthulhu, A Christmas Carol, The Sandman, The Boogeyman. Like, holy crap, you got some stellar characters here. The Ghostbusters, they look awesome. They look like their movie counterparts, except they have like these updated color costumes, which actually look really cool and help the different, members of the team stand out from one another. But you still have the Ecto-1, you still have the Proton Packs. They all look amazing, and they're like fully fleshed out characters because they're based on the movie. And then it launches an awesome line of toys and action figures. You have behind me, you got the Fright features, you got the old school ones, you got Venkman with the Fright feature like this. It's awesome. You got these guys. Look at that. I mean, look how cool that is. Freaking Egon. Oh my God, it's amazing. So you launched that. You had board games come from this. You had a whole art style. You had comic books. Now Comics put out the real Ghostbuster stuff. And then to top it all off, how much time do I have left, Zach?
You're halfway through it.
Oh, I'm halfway through. I can keep going. I was going to say to top it all off, they have a ghost for a sidekick. But I'll circle back around because I do think it's important to talk about the pedigree they had behind the scenes, especially the first couple of seasons. I mean, Arsenio Hall, he, obviously he was doing the voice of Winston, even though Ernie Hudson actually auditioned for that and they gave it to Arsenio Hall. But I still love Arsenio Hall as Winston. Maurice LaMarche went on, and he's still a massive name today. Lorenzo Music unfortunately passed away. And before that, he was replaced by Dave Coulier, but Dave Coulier is not, he's a great actor. It's just, for me, he wasn't Lorenzo Music, but I do think he did a decent impression of Venkman, of Bill Murray, essentially. But then having J. Michael Straczynski writing episodes and show running the show for the first couple of seasons, if you don't know who J. Michael Straczynski is, go look him up. Go Google him. It'll be hard because his last name's really hard to spell, but he is a massive name in sci-fi. He's a massive name in TV, sci-fi TV, comic books, writing, and some of his cartoons that he wrote for this show are some of the best cartoons ever written in the 80s. My personal favorite episode is Citizen Ghost. It picks up the moment the first movie ended, where they all come back from busting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it's kind of an origin story for the cartoon of the real Ghostbusters. This was written by J. Michael Straczynski, and it's one of my favorite episodes of any cartoons ever, and it's my favorite episode of the real Ghostbusters. Also, they have Slimer as a sidekick. I mean, what more do you want? It's better than having a gorilla for a sidekick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Buzzer, you don't have to convince me. Wow. Okay, so I have a minute to rebut anything that I see fit. I don't have to. It's optional as well. But I'm going to give myself a minute on the clock. And wow, I don't even know what to say. All right.
Better not be anything bad about my boy.
So I have one thing to say. And my rebuttal to all of that is you took a franchise, well, not even a franchise, but a movie like Ghostbusters in 1984, which with an amazing theme song. However, that theme song was plagiarized from one Huey Lewis, and unfortunately, claimed to be, source material. It's not. It's a want a new drug. That's what it is. So it's a ripoff of a song. Then you go on to these iconic jumpsuits that they wear in the 1984 film, and it's updated for a cartoon with Egon having a blonde hair with a rat tail. And in many people's books, that would be a little cheese ball. Is it for me? Well, I'm going to say yes, it is. I was very unhappy with the fact that they all looked that way, and I have to give myself a time out. That's my rebuttal.
Good rebuttal. Good rebuttal.
I actually, hey, stop it right now. I really like his rat tail. Everything I'm saying, I actually totally don't agree with.
I know, but, keep in mind, I mean, I like Filmation's Ghostbusters.
I mean, we will. Like,
I'm going to throw some shade. During my rebuttal.
I think you just did. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 minutes on my clock, and I will be mindful of my timer as well. Okay, so I'm going to throw 3 minutes up on my clock. Look at all your toys. I got some toys too, by the way.
I know
I'm just going to go.
I know you
okay.
do.
Let me see. 3 minutes. And thank you everybody, by the way, for joining us. It's really nice to see your faces, your names or numbers on the little scroller. Okay, 3 minutes, and here we go for Filmation Ghostbusters. Okay, what can I say about Filmation Ghostbusters that hasn't already been said? Well, there's a lot, because not much has been said about Filmation Ghostbusters. Filmation is a tried, tested, and true good old American company that was dates back to the 70s with animated shows like Flash Gordon and Tarzan and Gilligan's Island, and of course He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The He-Man and the Masters of the Universe epitomizes the 80s. If it wasn't for He-Man, we wouldn't have the nostalgia, I believe, that we have today. And She-Ra, of course. So because of those iconic names I just threw out there, Filmation Ghostbusters was born. Filmation Ghostbusters was created by, before I mess this name up, and I don't want to do that. How dare I? Okay. And this is definitely,
buddy. You're eating
I know.
My God, buddy.
Lou Scheimer, the creator of Filmation Ghostbusters. In fact, Lou Scheimer is the mastermind behind Brave Star, Black Star. Like I said, He-Man and She-Ra. Some of the voice talents are from He-Man itself. You've got Peter Cullen, by the way. Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, of all people. This is one of his earlier shows that he's done. Alan Oppenheimer, the voice of Skeletor, is on Ghostbusters. Linda Gary, who played Teela on He-Man, and is also the voice on Ghostbusters. And Pat Fraley, the voice of Krang from TMNT back in the day, is on Ghostbusters. This show features a cast of 3 hunky leads. You've got Eddie Spencer right here, this guy. You've got Jake Kong, the ape, right? And you've got also you've got Tracy, and you've got Jake Kong, and you've got Eddie here. Okay. And I want to point out, Corey showed these amazing action figures. Look at the detail on this figure. Like, look at his face. It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it? With this logo, they have an amazing theme song as well that is original. It's not a ripoff of a Huey Lewis in the News song. And on top of that, the animation for every episode, the transformation, which took up about almost 2 minutes of time, was in every single episode. You got to see the same transformation every single episode. So I think that there's a lot of enjoyment in seeing the same animation every single episode. There's something special about that. And my timer is up.
It's almost as if that's Filmation's MO.
I'm just saying.
Real quick, guys and gals, it's Luna, you must be thinking to yourself, right? Luna, like, oh, that Zach showed a gorilla. This is based on a live action TV show from the 70s. Yeah, they had a guy in a gorilla costume playing a gorilla on the TV show.
Yeah, they did. And you know what? There's some might say that's groundbreaking, but I'm going to give you 1 minute of rebuttal time. Corey, go for it. Talk your trash all you want.
Lee, here are the shots that are going to be fired, Lee. First off, Filmation's Ghostbusters is based on a 1975 series, so it already feels old. It looks old. The car that they have is like an old buggy type of car. Their costumes, they look like safari people from like the 1930s, and their costumes aren't nearly as cool as yeah, exactly. Those costumes aren't nearly as cool, and their gear isn't as cool as the real Ghostbusters. And finally, they don't bust ghosts, Zach. They bust like space pirates and space robots and interdimensional robots. He's cool looking. I do like him, but they're not ghosts. They don't bust any ghosts, and that's all I got.
Primeval.
I'm surprised you didn't throw the rogues gallery. Now, I know this isn't a part of the show, but I will say it. If you maybe we add it, Zach, maybe you add it. Like, you throw in one good thing about the other side is that at least Ghostbusters, Filmation's Ghostbusters, had a strong recurring rogues gallery, whereas real Ghostbusters, it was more of like a ghost of the week, and it didn't really have too many like Sandman came back and Boogeyman came back because they were kind of big deal. But right out of the gate, Filmation's Ghostbusters had a fully fleshed out villain gallery that was like the antagonists every single episode. So you actually got to start to care about the Filmation's Ghostbusters villains.
This is true. And just so I don't leave anybody in the just so I don't leave anybody in, and to answer your question, Luna, stand by with the no ghost question. Just so I don't leave you in the loop or in the lurch. That's for you because your time is up. Okay, so I am going to really quickly reveal some of the ghosts, the reoccurring rogues gallery, if you will, from Ghostbusters, Filmation Ghostbusters. You've got Primeval, voiced by Alan Oppenheimer. Primeval,
who doesn't look like a ghost. He looks like a robot.
No, but he is a ghost, and he goes around.
No, but he is a ghost, I tell you.
He is a ghost, I say, and he goes around in his bone troller. You've got Bratterat, who is, I believe, a ghost rat.
You believe he's not a ghost. I'll tell you that much. He's not clear. He's not translucent.
And then you've got Fangster, because real Ghostbusters did have a werewolf toy, but they did not have a werewolf in the cartoon.
They did one episode, Lupusville, but that's fine.
Okay, well,
again, not a ghost though. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ghost.
And then you've got Fib Face. So he's got one face on one side and he's got another face on the other.
He's not clear though. He doesn't look like a ghost to me.
Well, some might say he's a ghost. Some might say he's not. And of course, you've got Scared Stiff, who is a robotic ghost robot.
He was my favorite design from the villains. I think he's really cool looking.
So they've got original characters. I know this is kind of we got a minute to go with our final thoughts, and I guess I pretty much used my minute up to say there's a colorful collection of characters. Oh, and don't forget Belfry. Here's Belfry. And
Yeah,
and you've got two ladies on your show. You've got Jessica. You've got Jessica who like look at that
look at
sculpt on
that
her head.
forehead. Look at that
I
forehead.
mean, it's pretty amazing, you know.
But do
And
you have my girl, Zach? Do you have my girl?
Futura, and we've got
There she
Futura,
is,
and you've got
Futura,
Futura.
and her purple
Yes,
skin. There
yes,
she is.
and her vacant dead eyes. These, by the way, these are like little PVC figures. They made physical larger figures with an amazing, and you have to admit, Corey, the play set that came for this
Oh yeah.
is just as cool, if not cooler, than the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Just as cool. I won't say cooler, but just like the car, their car is almost as cool as the Ecto one. I will say my final thoughts.
Hey, their car talked, by the way. Their car talked.
Final
Okay.
thoughts.
Your final thoughts. Go.
I think both of their logos are super strong. I know everyone knows what the No Ghost Ghostbusters logo, but Zach, if you can hold that up, I think that's a fun logo too. It was also on his backpack as well. I like the use of negative space with it and everything. You're like, well, why is it a different logo? Well, because the car can actually change its face. It's a living entity.
Yeah, so this car actually
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah, so it's almost like the car's face is sort of their logo a little bit, but regardless, I think it's a cool looking logo. I like it just as much as the No Ghost logo. So because it's fun, you can do a lot with the Filmation one. I feel like I'm helping the Filmation one because I feel like the real Ghostbusters one is going to just, trounce it. I'm trying to help the Filmation one as much as possible.
Let me just say this. And it's a balanced thought to kind of wrap up our debate on our inaugural episode of Versus. And by the way, I have the Fire Station box set with the
Yeah, you know why? Because I made a choice to just buy the first 2 seasons because these are the ones with Lorenzo music.
Oh, well, yeah. So here's the thing. This is my hope with this show Versus. At the end of the day, you'll walk away saying, you know what? Actually, both of these sound pretty darn cool. And I kind of want to check out both of them. Like Luna, for example, you're not familiar with either show, you might want to go out and check them out. They're both available, I believe, on YouTube, maybe. And this is all in friendly, good fun. And so I love both shows as well. I actually love Egon's my favorite character, his look on the cartoon of the real Ghostbusters. But you guys are going to decide. You guys, and I just want to throw this out there that Corey's own wife thinks that the talking car is pretty cool on Filmation Ghostbusters. So
not as cool as the Ecto one.
This is the part of the show that's very interesting. So from now until the end of February, last Sunday of February, you're going to decide which one did you like more? Who made a better case, Corey or myself? Filmation Ghostbusters on my side or the real Ghostbusters on Corey's side? Who do you think, which do you think had the better case? Or which one do you like more? Which one do you think is better? Okay, just put that in the comments. And we will tally those votes up. At the end, we'll decide who the winner is. I'll announce it on the next show, the following show.
And if it's at my side, then I'll contact the Patreon member and get your info and everything like that. So
yeah. And if it's my side, we'll do the same. Patreon members will win a prize. So if you want to be eligible to win a prize, you must be signed up to our Patreon, patreon.com/podcastingafterdark, patreon.com/$2 late fee. I think we're pretty easy to find. Find us on the Instagrams, on the social medias, here on the YouTube channels, and subscribe to us. Check us out. Real Ghostbusters and Filmation Ghostbusters. By the way, I think both of these physical media DVDs are very hard to come by nowadays.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
And I just want to also point this out that Oppenheimer greater than Lorenzo music. Lee. Okay, so everybody, this is our inaugural episode. Thank you for joining us. Corey, it's been a pleasure having you on for the inaugural episode. By the way, we have a really killer logo for Versus. It's created by Video Force. If you go to $2 Late Fees Instagram, I think podcasting is also linked to it too. There's a link to Video Force's page. Show him some love and say, I really love that logo you did for $2 Late Fees Versus. That'll be turned into a t-shirt down the road in 2025. You can order that on TeePublic, and we'll have stickers and koozies and all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys. Whoa, just saw a flash of lightning outside. That was really wild.
Yeah. Good Lord. End of days in Santa Monica.
Yeah, like the Russ Ballard song Voices. We'll just sing verses. I hear verses. Corey, do you have any final thoughts about
this was a blast. Thanks for having me on, buddy. I'm glad we I know we banged around a couple ideas behind the scenes, but we're talking Ghostbusters. Are we just playing that over me talking? Are you playing me out? Is this the Academy Awards?
I'm just playing it really low underneath you. That theme song is amazing, by the way.
It's a good one. You talk some real shit about Ray Parker Jr. though. Oh wow.
I know. I mean, it's kind of
That's an iconic song. I mean, I think at this point, the Ray Parker Jr. song is probably more popular than I Want a New Drug. I do love Huey Lewis in the News, though.
I love them both.
I know.
As Corey would say, I just love them both.
That's what you say.
All right,
people pleaser.
I am a people pleaser. All right, everybody, enjoy. Thank you so much, Corey. I love you, dude.
Love you too, buddy.
Enjoy Versus. Let us know what you think, guys. Put it in the comments, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye, Bretterets.
And now back to the real Ghostbusters.